Well, what a relevant topic for Pastor Glenn to talk about Paul's time in prison and how he was impacted by loneliness. And when I moved halfway around the world to Pakistan, I was lonely. I had moved to a traditional society. I didn't know the language. I had to dress differently. I had completely lost my routines, my family, my friends, my Mexican food, and fellowship of believers. I lost Purpose Church. It sounds like what's happening to many people right now, doesn't it? We have lost our routines, our connections, our social interactions, and you know what? It's painful. In serving overseas, I experienced loneliness because I felt isolated at times and cut off. But you know, God is kind. And gradually, I was able to put down roots, learn the language, make new friends, and I was embraced by warm and loving people. You know, living in Pakistan, I also experienced lockdowns, sometimes for weeks, sometimes actually for months. And what helped me? God's Word. You know, God's Word is alive and it speaks to us. It would say things like, Priscilla, I see you. I know where you live. I know what's happening. I will never leave you, and I'm going to take care of this. I would experience loneliness because I felt cut off or isolated. But you know, God was kind, and I gradually learned to learn the language, put down roots, make friends, and I was embraced by a warm and loving people. And God also used cards and telephone calls to encourage me to keep going. Someone could write me a letter in California. 2 weeks later, I would get it in Pakistan, and it would always speak to my heart, meet a need. It would give me hope to carry on. I also had a friend who would call me, about once a month and say, Priscilla, how are things going? And at the end, she would say, how can I pray for you? A good question that deserved an honest answer. And I would try and be real and explain the stresses, the strains, the worries. And then we would pray and give it to the one, the only one who could do something about that need. In the past month, I've had the wonderful opportunity of calling people from our fellowship. And I had read that people in retirement facilities were in quarantine. But it just didn't really register what that really meant until I started calling some of my friends. And you know, nothing is real until it's personal. These are my personal friends who served as Sunday school teachers, Bible study leaders, and now they're in their rooms 24/7. No one can visit them, not even at 6 feet. Their meals are delivered to them. In one place, they can't go to the mail room. Their mail is delivered to them. You know, it's like being in prison. A beautiful prison, but a prison nonetheless. Some people are stuck in their room with only a landline and no computer, so they can't listen to Pastor Glenn on Sundays. Recently, I've talked to a friend for about the 5th time, and I heard something new in her voice, and that was despair. She was feeling very low. So, you know, in these past few weeks, there are members of Purpose Church who've been writing notes and making phone calls to those who are in lockdown in the retirement homes. You know, there's one facility who've said to our leadership, you know what, there's only 5 people in this facility from your church. Would you write letters to the other 205 people? They would love it. And it's a wonderful opportunity. Can you write a note? Can your child draw a picture? Can you make one phone call a week? Here is an opportunity for you to reach out to those in lockdown in a facility, in a retirement facility. Now, some of you are computer savvy, so you can go on the Purpose Church website and click on the COVID-19 response button, go down to Give Help, and explain your desire to reach out to our elderly members in quarantine. Now, some of you don't have a computer. Maybe you're watching with a friend in another place. You can call the church and they will connect you to the people who will then help you connect to our people in those facilities. And I just want to remind you again, wherever you are, God sees you. He knows what is happening to you. He's going to take care of you by His grace.